Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita as it is, the Divine Song of God, Chapter 2, Contents of the Gita summarized, text 36, 37, and 38. And I will read the Sanskrit to all of them. I mean, the last one we'll read together. All right, text 36. Avajja vadamsta bandhun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastava samartyam tato dukataram nukim. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Sri Swami Prabhupada. Lord Krishna was astonished in the beginning at Arjuna's uncalled for plea for compassion, and he described his compassion as befitting the non-Aryans. Now, in so many words, he has proved his statements against Arjuna's so-called compassion. Hatova prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmaditista konteya yudaya krita nishchayaha. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Purport. Even though there was no certainty of victory for Arjuna's side, he still had to fight. For even being killed there, he could be elevated into the heavenly planets. Okay, now we'll read text 38 together. Sukha, duke, same, kritva, labalabo, jaya jayo, tato, yudaya, yujasva, naivam, papam, avapshasi, sukaduke same kritva, labalabo jaya jayo, tato yudaya yujasva, naivam papam avapsyasi, sukaduke same kritva, labalabo jaya jayo, tato yudaya yujasva, naivam papam avapsyasi, sukha duke same kritva, laba labo jaya jayo, tato yudaya yujasva, naivam papam avasyasi, sukha duke samadvitva, laba labo jaya jayo, tato ityam judaswa, naivam papam arushati, sukha duke same dritva, laba labo jaya jayo, Tato Draju Jasva.
Nevam papam vapyasi.
Nevam Papam Vapsasi. Any other late? Sukha Duke Same Kritva. Labha Labho Jaya Jayo. Tato Yudaya Yujasva. Naivam Papam Avapsasi. Sukha, happiness. Duke, and distress. Same, in equanimity. Kritwa, doing so. Labha alabo, both profit and loss. Jaya ajayo, both victory and defeat. Tataha, thereafter. Yudaya, for the sake of fighting. Yujasva, engage, fight. Na, never. Evam, in this way. Papam, sinful reaction. Avapsyasi, you will gain. Transliteration. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat. And by so doing, you shall never incur sin. Translation, please repeat. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing, you shall never incur sin. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna now directly says that Arjuna should fight for the sake of fighting because he, God, desires the battle. There is no consideration of happiness or distress, profit or gain, victory or defeat in the activities of Krishna consciousness. That everything should be performed for the sake of Krishna is transcendental consciousness. So there's no reaction to material activities. He who acts for his own sense gratification, either in goodness or in passion, is subject to the reaction, good or bad. But he who has completely surrendered himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone, nor is he a debtor to anyone, as one is in the ordinary course of activities. It is said, Deva Rishi Bhupta Nirnam Pritrinam Nakinkaro Nayamrinicha Rajan Sarvatmanaya Saranam Sharayam Gato Mukandam Parita Kartam. Anyone who has completely surrendered unto Krishna, Mukanda, giving up all other duties, is no longer a debtor, nor is he obliged to anyone, not the demigods, not the sages, not the people in general, nor kinsmen, nor humanity, nor forefathers. Srimad Bhagavatam 11:541. That is the indirect hint given by Krishna to Arjuna in this verse, and the matter will be more clearly explained in the following verses. Om Anjana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshuan Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Tam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Garangi Radhe Vrindavandesvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Sri Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time, all together, everybody. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So I thank Mother Labangalatika and Mother Karjamisha for inviting me to give the Bhagavad-Gita class. I was thinking, if you had asked me this morning, I would have said no, because how my body was feeling. But Krishna is so kind that when you have an intention or desire to serve Krishna, he knows what to do. So I am so grateful to be sitting before all of you all today, Mother Narayani, all my dear friends, Namachintamani, Vajeshwari, Yoga Maya, Ladini Shakti, and my dear son, Mohan Madhuri, and all the wonderful devotees here. Krishna has given us such a nice spiritual family. Prabhupada said, practically speaking, I've created this society so you can have family that loves you and takes care of you. So it's, in this particular text, Krishna is telling Arjuna that he needs to fight. He's a Kshatriya. A duty of a Kshatriya is to fight, and he won't be happy if he doesn't fight. The word Shat means injury, and Tra means deliverance. So a Kshatriya's duty is to deliver his constituents, his citizens from injury. You know, like we have mantra. The mantra means deliver the mind, right? So Kshatriya means deliver the citizens from injury and harm and hurt. And because of lack of Kshatriyas, the whole world is suffering today. Srila Prabhupada explains that, he gives this really nice analogy that there is a dancing lady, and she gets on the dancing stage to do her dance, and then she looks out, and then she sees her family members. So all of a sudden, she wants to put her veil over her face. And there's a Bengali phrase for that. I think gundata means veil. Anyway, so Prabhupada said, it's too late for all that. You're a dancing woman, you're on the stage, you must dance. So Arjuna is a Kshatriya, he's on the battlefield, he must fight. And that is his service, and that is his duty. And Kshatriyas have certain qualities and characteristics. They must be courageous in battle. They must have a desire to fight for righteousness. Krishna makes a distinction because people might say, well, wow, God is telling his servants to be violent when ahimsa is one of our main qualities. It's the nature of a devotee to be ahimsa, to be nonviolent. And yet, sometimes in the material world, violence is necessary by the proper authorities at the proper time. Not just anybody, anywhere, killing and shooting and murdering and mugging. No. if there is a righteous cause, then a Kshatriya must protect the righteous. So that's called Dharma Yuddha. And any other kind of fighting, any other kind of wars is called Adharma Yuddha. And that is mostly what we have in today's world. We see when politicians start lagging behind in the polls, they'll create some kind of false war just to get the people distracted. And that's called Adharma Yuddha. But here we have Arjuna on the battlefield, and Krishna is telling him, fight. Fight for righteousness. And that's the duty of any person who becomes conscious, that we have a certain kind of fight that we must do to stand for principle, to stand for righteousness, to not allow certain things to take place. Kind of like when Maharaj Pariksit saw the Kali impersonator beating the legs off the bull and the calf, he said, oh no, not in my kingdom. I will not allow that. So that has to be the nature of a Kshatriya. And so Prabhupada explains that there is a real need for these people with these kind of characteristics, men in particular, who have the qualities of a Kshatriya. And the quality of a Kshatriya is, as I was saying, being resourceful, being courageous in battle, taking the leadership, not sending your soldiers out. No, you go in front of them to show them how to do. And in many ways, we don't see that in the world today. Most people are armchair generals. They'll send their soldiers, the innocent people, out to fight on the battlefield and give their life, but they won't be the example. So here we have the Brahmins, whose duty it is to give spiritual guidance and spiritual leadership, the Kshatriyas, whose duty it is to give protection, and the Vaishyas, whose duty it is to give agricultural benefits such as food and taking care of the cows and that kind of thing, and then the others who help to serve. So, and you see in a society where things flow naturally and work harmoniously, then all the needs of all the citizens will be met. Now, sometimes we hear the idea of higher and lower birth, and we've been hearing a lot about this lately. Basically, our scriptures tell us that none of us have to worry about that in Kali Yuga, because we're Kalo Shudra Sambhava, that in this age everybody is born a Shudra. But the idea of a Vaishnav is beyond Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmin. Because a Vaishnav, a servant of the Lord, has surpassed all of those things. So, and you think about higher and lower births anyway, one way that I began to conceptualize it is higher birth means more responsibility. It means more sacrifice called for. It means more willingness to take the load. For example, we could say that a mother or a father has a higher birth in a way than a child because they have to make all the sacrifices. Or we can say that a human being has a higher birth than an animal. But what does that mean, though? It means that that human being now has a responsibility to protect and take care of those animals, not misuse them, not exploit them. If we properly understand the scriptures and the context in which the Lord gave us, we'll all have a much better working paradigm to work from. So here we see that Arjuna is told to fight without considering whether he's going to be happy, whether he's going to be sad, whether he's going to lose, whether he's going to win, whether anything. Because why? He's fighting for righteous principles. He's fighting under the guidance of God. And similarly, when we do our devotional service, it is somewhat, Prabhupada said our devotional service is kind of like a fight against Maya. And so we have to continue this fight whether we feel cold or hot or happy or sad or sick or well. Because the ultimate idea is that whatever we do for Krishna is in itself victory, whether it appears that we win or we lose. So now we have Arjuna being really guided how to properly understand fighting, how to properly understand service to Krishna. And we understand Arjuna was a family man. Arjuna wasn't a Brahmin. He wasn't a sannyasi. He wasn't a sage in the forest. But yet he is given this bhakti-yoga, this service to fight. And so that's a lesson for us to understand, well, what is our duty? And how do we prosecute those duties very nicely on behalf of Guru, on behalf of Krishna? And how do we understand what that duty is? That's why it's very, very important to study the scriptures in association of the sadhus and to prayerfully try to understand what is Krishna's direction and guidance for us. In this age, more or less, Lord Chaitanya has come not so much to kill the bodies, because in many places Prabhupada said if he came to kill the bodies, he'd have to kill pretty much everybody. So he came to kill the demoniac mentality by this Harinam Sankirtan movement. And we as agents of the Harinam Sankirtan movement have a responsibility to become Vaishnavas ourselves and help others to become. And invite people to the Vaishnav life by our lives. When they see how we are doing, when they see how we are talking, when they see how we are, despite an apparent unhappy situation, we're still happy in service to Krishna, or despite obstacles and setbacks, we keep on going for Krishna, and we do it in a joyful mood, because we understand that whatever we do for Krishna will last, and whatever we do for Maya will pass. So here, Arjuna is being given the secret key that we're all being given for freedom. Prabhupada is, in the quote that he gives from the Bhagavatam 11th canto, anyone who completely surrenders unto Krishna is no longer a debtor. Because the scriptures explain that from pretty much the time we're born, we're indebted to the demigods for the rain, for the sunshine, for the moonshine, for everything. I mean, there's someone who's giving service, and because of this service, we have an obligation. And the more intelligent we are, the more we understand that we should fulfill that obligation. But when one becomes a devotee, and what does that mean to become a devotee? I asked that sort of rhetorical, but I would actually like to hear an answer. What does it mean to become a devotee? Chanadapi Sunichenat. So he's saying, the Prabhu is saying, to become a devotee means that we become humble, tolerant, giving all respect to others, not expecting any respect for ourselves, and in such a state of mind, we can be conscious of God always. What else? Prabhu?
To do everything for Krishna's pleasure.
To do everything for Krishna's pleasure. Very good. Anybody else? What does that mean to be a devotee, if you want to add more? How do we know how to please Krishna? Spiritual master.
By doing any work, by keeping the Krishna in center.
Yat karosi, yat yajasi. Do everything we do as an offering to whatever we eat, whatever we give away, do it as an offering to Krishna. So sometimes we should kind of grade ourselves in the scale. We shouldn't necessarily show anybody else our report card, but we should grade ourselves. How am I doing with this humility thing? How am I doing with this tolerant thing? How am I doing with making every aspect of my life an offering to God? Because Krishna is a real person and he's in our hearts, so he understands when we are being real. And because he's a person, I like the fact that God is a person. In the beginning, people think, oh, he's this kind of energy or he's this kind of spirit. But you can't really connect to just an energy. Or you can't really just talk to a spirit. But a person, you can talk to that person, you can cry to that person, that person can understand you. And since Krishna is Purushottama, supreme person, then he wants us to have those kinds of relationships with him. So everything that happens in our lives is an arrangement by Krishna to help us come closer to him. Everything. You say, well, Mata, yes. Even people talking about, yes. Everything that happens to us is Krishna's arrangement to see how much shelter we're going to take of him, how much we trust him as a person. So we've been, away from God so many millions of lifetimes. It's almost, we can't even believe, starting off from aquatic and, trees and then insects and reptiles and birds and this and that. And now we're finally in the human form of life, and we have the great fortune to be alive at a time when His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, came and brought this Krishna. This is historic. This is monumental. So what we don't want to do is waste our time. And there will always be distractions. Arjuna had many distractions. There will always even be things that people say, let's do. No. Become this devotee of Krishna. Make your relationship with Krishna. Krishna is hankering for us. And Krishna wants to see how we treat everybody. How we treat the little ant. There's that story. I love this story because Prabhupada was with one of my godbrothers, and he was in his office, and there was an ant going across the little table. And Prabhupada asked him, he said, do you see the ant? And the devotee, the devotee didn't know whether to say yes or no. He said, what was Prabhupada going to ask, right? And he said, yeah, the devotee. And Prabhupada said, what is my duty to the ant? The devotee duty to the ant? Prabhupada said, well, at least I could give him a little prasadam. I could chant the holy name. And the devotee was struck, and that left an unforgettable memory in the devotee's heart, that we should always be aware that every living entity has a spark of God in them, and when Krishna brings that living entity into our path, we should ask ourselves, what is my duty to that living entity? Now that's a pretty hard one, isn't it? All these different living entities coming in our paths and our lives, what is my duty? At least we could chant Hare Krishna. At least we could do no harm to the living entity. What is that? Doctors have to say, first do no harm. That has to be the motto of a devotee. Do no harm to any living entity. Yes, very important point. So Prabhupada, when he brought this Krishna consciousness movement, he brought something that works if we work it. He brought something that he was assured would take us back to Godhead. And he knew all of our foibles and all of our frailties and everything that go with it. But he gave us a very simple formula. He said, chant Hare Krishna every day, associate with the devotees, serve the devotees. And when you get a little teeny bit mature, you're going to realize that every living entity is a devotee of Krishna. They just forgot it. They just forgot it. And so my job is to help remind them and to be a good example. That's a devotee. So Prabhupada had such faith in the holy name, in the Bhagavad-Gita, in the Bhagavatam, that he knew if he left this scripture with us, if we took it to heart, if we prayed and begged Krishna, Krishna, I've been away from you so many lifetimes. I'm tired of that separation, Lord. I don't feel good being separated from you. I'm not fit. Please save me. Chant like that, and Krishna will hear us, because that's the nature of God. And he wants us back like anything. I have children. If any one of them get lost at any point, I will never be satisfied until they're found. And they may say, oh, you got a lot. No, I want that one that's lost. That's how Krishna is. So when devotees like Prabhupada, Bhakti-Tirtha Swami, and all these wonderful, great saintly persons take it upon themselves to spread the message at even cost to their health and their lives, it is because they're following Krishna's instructions to fight for the sake of fighting, no matter whether it's happiness or distress or sickness or what. This Krishna consciousness is actually a fight. To get up every day and to chant Hare Krishna, and to be kind to people, and to read the scriptures, and to be humble. That's a fight. Because, we've been dealing with the false ego for all these years. So, we have to see ourselves on the battlefield of Krishna consciousness and try to understand what is our fight, and how to prosecute that fight, and how to help others. The more you help another person become Krishna conscious, the more you become Krishna conscious. The more you help another soul understand their relationship with God, the more you understand your relationship with God. Krishna consciousness really is the most unselfish lifestyle. Sometimes we live it selfishly, but it's the most unselfish because the key of it is you cannot be Krishna conscious without giving Krishna consciousness to others. That's just a simple key. I mean, you can get liberation, you can go to the heavenly plane, but you can't get pure love of God without a willingness to share that love with others and without a willingness to make sacrifices to do that. So here's Arjuna on the battlefield 5,000 years ago, and we're on our battlefield 5,000 years later, and we have to figure out how to fight. And how to fight in all terms, and how to trust the word of Krishna. When Krishna says, if you fight righteously, you will incur no sin. That's what he told Arjuna. There will be no sin for your fight. All these other wars out here, there's tremendous sin because they're a dharma yuddha. But the wars that we fight on behalf of Krishna and righteousness is dharma yuddha. So Lord Chaitanya wanted us to develop communities of loving Krishna conscious families and societies where we take care of each other and look out for each other and help each other along the pathway as we grow in our own Krishna consciousness that'll help others to grow. So I'm going to stop here and ask, are there any questions or comments? Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
You said we shouldn't harm anyone.
Yes.
Knowing this, sometimes we do these things. Just like we are wearing this garland. And from the garland we see the worm coming out. And we try to save that worm. And when we see that in our temple there are some plants, they are growing. So those growing plants, we are ordering someone to make it in a uniform way or this one. So we are harming those plants. So is that correct, or according to our beautify our temple, we have to do those things? So what do you say about it?
So once a devotee asked Srila Prabhupada what happens to all the flowers that were offered to the deity, and Prabhupada said every one of those flowers becomes liberated. So anything done in the service of the Lord with that intention, all of the living entities are blessed like that. We just have to be very careful that whatever we do is done for Krishna and not our own personal sense gratification and according to divine authority. And if that's the case, then those living entities are blessed. In every endeavor, as it says in the Bhagavad-Gita, there's some fault. And Krishna covers our faults, just much like a loving parent covers the fault. If I'm doing everything to the best of my ability to please Krishna and I accidentally do something, then Krishna covers that. And so anybody involved in that process, because once the reason why pure devotional service is so important, that because once a living entity becomes pure, that whatever they touch in any way becomes pure. That's the whole nature of the contagiousness of purity. So in that way, Krishna covers for us.
Thank
You're welcome.
One more point.
Yes.
Just like Krishna says Arjuna to fight.
Yes.
His duty is Kshatriya is to fight.
Yes.
And you give the examples of Vaishyas and Shudras and Vaishnavas, what we have to do. According to our this one, when we are coming as a devotional service we are doing. So how we should help the devotees who are neophyte coming, then how we can ask them that you be in Krishna consciousness?
The best way to help a neophyte devotee is to be a really good example. What did they say? A picture's worth 1,000 words. When someone actually sees you portraying or personifying devotional qualities, and you're not judgmental, and you're patient, and you're kind, then that automatically gives them hope that they can, make a spiritual progress. So the best way is to be an example and to encourage them as much as you can without being judgmental. Haribo. Any other question or comment? Prabhu?
Yeah, comment.
Yes.
And, I usually don't say anything, I keep my trap shut, but you're a good way of keeping my attention, so. The story about the ant
Yes.
made me think of another story I read about Prabhupada. One devotee was massaging Prabhupada. And during the massage, he was kind of like shooing away some ants that were coming. And I'm saying, Prabhupada said something like, don't worry about it,
Mm-hmm.
And the second Prabhupada said that, the ants did a turnaround and went exactly the other way. And speaking of other living entities besides humans, there's a story I heard on the internet from Bobby Narayan Maharaj, and they were doing a walk in the park in San Diego, and during the walk, there was like animals around, deer, and the deer would stand there and look at Prabhupada, and then the devotees kept walking, and then the deers ran ahead and stopped and looked at Prabhupada, was just looking at Prabhupada, like Krishna can give mercy to all living entities, and so I'm assuming Prabhupada could too.
Yeah, oh, for
And so,
sure.
like, the whole way down and the whole way back, the deer would run ahead, look at Prabhupada, stare at Prabhupada, and then they just keep doing it all the way there and all the way back on the walk. So anyway, we're talking about the dance, and that inspired me.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Just as the Lord is all attractive, his really pure devotees are also attractive, even to the animals. And your first story reminded me of that pastime of Haridas Thakur. He had students, and they would come to see him in a cave every day, but there was a snake in the cave. And they were afraid. Haridas Thakur was standing, Hare Krishna, he hardly paid attention to the snake. It was a big snake. And so the students say, our dear Guru, we're so afraid to come to you. We want to come to you, but we're afraid because of the snake. And Haridas said, oh, he won't bother you, just come on. They said, but Guru, we're not like you. You're transcendental, And so he said, all right, I'll move to another cave. And at that moment, when Haridas said that, the snake turned around, walked out of the cave, and never came back. You all know that pastime? It's very nice to show that the Lord works in conjunction with his devotees, and so many things that happen in our lives that we kind of take for granted, but it's actually Krishna orchestrating to cooperate with his devotees and their mission and purpose. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Any other questions or comments, ladies? Oh, Ladini?
So, reference this point you just made about
Okay.
Thakur Haridas,
Mm-hmm.
and that followed on the example of Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
These personalities are so exalted sometimes when we're doing our process to get in that, you may feel overtaken by a kind of hopelessness. Like,
Yes.
I'm so filled with distraction, lack of virtue, etc. How could I ever? What is the remedy for that?
The main remedy, Ladini Shakti, is to accept God's word, that he promised, if you desire to know him, that he will help you in all respects. That's the main remedy. To understand, Krishna says, Ye yata hamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajami aham. All of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. So according to the desire in your heart, Krishna will help you. You can be on the lowest rung, and Krishna can zoom you, depending on your desire. So to believe him, that he said, I'll help you. It's just like we are all very fallen. We are all very undeserving. We're all very unworthy. But when you think about Prabhupada's life, and you think about all the setbacks that he had, everybody should read Prabhupada's life, right, Narayani? It was not a bed of roses. It was fraught with setback after setback, and he was gored by a bull, and he fainted, he didn't have enough money, and he lost his wealth, and everything. So it's not like Prabhupada just, here just magically. No, he went through some stuff. And all people are going to go through a little thing. But the main thing is to hold tight to the Lord. Hold tight. Lord, you promised. So I'm out here on your word. And then as we chant the holy name, see, we don't realize how powerful Krishna's name is. Krishna's name is so powerful already. Just chanting a little bit, Nama Vas, we've surpassed lifetimes. So whether you feel it or not, it's just true. But if the more you chant Krishna's name, the more that name becomes revealed in your heart, it becomes your protector, your well-wisher, your friend, everything. Krishna's name is sometimes said to be greater than Krishna, which is very interesting to me. But what I understand from that is that Krishna wanted to give us hopeless people in Kali Yuga so much hope that he said, wherever you are, in whatever circumstance you are, if you just call my name, I'll be there. Like the Michael Jackson song. Just call my name, I'll be there. That's all Krishna is. Just call his name, he'll be there. That's God. So we have to trust that and keep calling the name, and as we do, keep trying to serve, and Krishna will reveal, he'll give us the intelligence how to come to him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, one more point.
Yes.
Just like Prabhupada said, we have to follow the instruction.
Mm-hmm.
He gave us an instruction that we should listen to Bhagavatam in the morning and evening Bhagavad-Gita.
Mm-hmm.
So if we take to this heart that we should listen Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita, so sometimes we discriminate. Bhagavatam class is given by someone I don't like him, so I don't want to listen to him. Why? This is a good speaker, I should go and listen to him. Even my service is there, I bring my service here and do my service and listen to him. But otherwise I am not interested that this person is giving, so I cannot like that person, or I cannot understand that person. So what should I do that time?
So the nice thing about being a person is that you may not like everything and everybody. That's a person. Even Krishna has likes and dislikes. But Krishna loves everyone. That's the thing we have to remember. So if someone doesn't particularly appeal to you, read the Bhagavatam somewhere else. Just read it every day. That's the instruction. It didn't say you have to listen to someone. And, I am really praying very hard to love all devotees and all people, but some devotees kind of challenge that. And so I may not want to maybe hear their Bhagavatam class, but I will pray for them and I will hear another Bhagavatam class. So we can do that, as long as we're not vicious or mean. Prabhu? Oh, can we give... Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Once inside of the Bhakti-yoga service, somebody asked him a similar question, and he said that we should always remember that Krishna put us on this path, and he will see us through the end. So
Oh, yes, yes,
like you said, call out to him.
yes,
And whenever we call out to him,
yes, yes. Very good. Thank you for sharing that, Mata. Did everybody hear that she said that once in South Africa, Bhakti Swami said that Krishna put us on this path, and he will see us to the end. I love it. I love it. Any other questions or comments? Thank you. So, thank you. So I wanted to say that tomorrow, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, my son and I will be leaving Vrindavan. And I wanted to take time to appreciate all of the devotees here that have been very kind to us and have prayed for us and have given us your wonderful association. Vrindavan is such a unique experience. It is on many, many levels the most intense experience that one could ever have. And the idea is to pray to really see the real Vrindavan, because often we will see the Vrindavan that's covered by Yoga Maya. And by Srimati Radharani's grace, by the grace of Vrinda Devi, by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, once in a while we can get a real glimpse of the real Vrindavan. For me, that glimpse has been the people in Vrindavan, the Brijabasis, the devotees, Namachintamani, Vajesri, all these wonderful mothers that have befriended me. And I really appreciate that, and I will take you all with me in my heart. And I pray that, Krishna will cause all of us to keep on growing and enriching ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a dynamic process. One should never, ever stay in the same spot. You should always grow. Krishna is love personified, and he loves us, and eventually we should feel that love, and we should give that love. And to me, that's what Vrindavan has represented. So I thank you all for the wonderful opportunity, and for all of you all welcoming us, and we'll see you again whenever Srimati Radharani allows. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.